2023, Labour's presidential candidate Peter Obi has just made a strong comment. Let me put it that way. He's just made a strong comment that he rather dies than this one is serious, because it looks like a pledge. You are making you're taking an oath. You're swearing that, you know what, I'm going to die, except I'm going to die. This one is very strong. And but, well, for politicians, they can say anything, to be honest. We've seen one politician. It was before the PDP primaries, when they were all going about campaigning and soliciting support. That was the PDP. One of the PDP chieftains, he said Atiku should be voted for, that Atiku will only do one term. If Atiku doesn't leave after one term, that he will walk around the streets naked. These politicians, they will never cease to amaze us. You are making oath for somebody else. If Atiku doesn't leave, what will you do? And what's the guarantee that you are even going to keep to that your pledge? Well, Peter Obi, we know in recent times, the obedient move, they are gaining a lot of popularity, to be honest. But we know there are other forces, the APC, the ruling party, and the opposition's People's Democratic Party. To be honest, Peter Obi is doing well, because they are not just the only political parties who are contesting or who are going to participate in the forthcoming general election. But if we look closely, we know that there are these three that are up there, and even political analysts have argued that it's going to be a 3-horse race. Some people call it 4-horse race. Sometimes they include the NNPP, Rabiu Kwankwaso, but more often than not, we know that it's Atiku, Obi, and Bola Tinubu who are always popping up in the news, and they are the ones who are always exchanging words and speaking to one another, the APC, PDP, and LP. Peter Obi has just dropped a strong pledge to Nigerians that he rather dies than fail his supporters. That is what he's saying. You know, Peter Obi has been accused that he doesn't have structure. Well, anytime he's told that, he accepts it, that yes, I don't have structure. My structure is my supporters. And that is what he's saying right now. He's reiterating that he would rather die than fail his supporters. And to me, if I want to interpret these words personally, it means that I won't disappoint them. Anything I promise them, that is what I will do. Can we really trust politicians? Well, we'll bring you all of the details, all that he's just pledged to Nigerians. We'll bring that to you in a moment. But before we do, guys, please don't forget to give us a thumbs up. Click on the like button. And if it's your first time here, you're very, very welcome. Please hit on the subscribe button. God bless you. Now to the news. Peter Obi, presidential candidate of the Labour Party, says he would rather die than fail his supporters. Speaking on Monday at the Editors Forum, an initiative of the Nigerian Guild of Editors, NGE, Obi said he is determined not to fail members of the obedient movement. The LP presidential candidate said the right leadership would rid the country of its challenges and change it from a consumer to a producer nation. I'm determined not to fail them. I would rather die than fail them. I'm going to serve them. Nan quoted him as saying, "We're going to involve women and youth. If I have the opportunity to serve, because that 50% of our population must come into productive use. We cannot have that number of people living in poverty and not have criminality, banditry, and so on. We must remove sharing formula and replace it with production formula. The hope of this country is the vast uncultivated land, not that oil we are seeing. My commitment is to put Nigeria into production. It is not acceptable that we cannot feed ourselves. We must get the country to work. All it requires is the leadership that understands and that can drive the process. I can do that." On campaign funding, Obi said, contrary to insinuations, no one else is funding his campaign. "I cannot be talking about being transparent about managing public money without starting with my campaign," he said. "I do not pay people to work with me. Nobody will say he's funding Peter Obi's campaign. I am funding myself. All those things happening everywhere are just that people believe in our cause and give whatever is from their little resources." encouraged, and I assure them that they are doing it for the right cause and I will never disappoint them. Commenting on Nigeria's debt profile, Obi said there is nothing wrong with borrowing. Every nation borrows. Individual businesses borrow all over the world, he said. What is important is what we use the borrowed money to do. If you borrow for consumption, that is where we have a problem. I want to say I will not borrow, but I would only borrow for investment, and I will explain to Nigerians the need for borrowing. Peter Obi has just made a strong pledge to Nigerians, to his supporters, to the obedient movement, that he will not fail them, that he would rather die than fail his supporters. I hope he means these words that he's saying, because these words, they are very strong, because it looks like in the political space, it looks like there is some kind of force that is even stronger, because there are some politicians we see that they seem very good before assuming those positions, before entering into power. Once they are there, it looks like some other force or some other power takes them over, or they are not able to fight that which is happening in there and make it right, and they are overcome, they succumb, and it's back to square one again. But for Peter Obi that is making this pledge, like I said, I hope he means these words he's saying, because if he truly means them, then if he becomes president, is looking like the country is on for a good ride. He also mentioned one other very interesting part. This is very obvious. I believe everyone in Nigeria is aware of it. There are even some parties that their slogan comes from here, and it's shameful. It's shameful. Peter Obi said he's going to remove the sharing formula and replace it with the production formula. I mean, that is brilliant. That's what we want. Because the sharing formula doesn't get to everybody. It only gets to those who feel that they have stake, or those who feel they know somebody. It shouldn't be so. It shouldn't be so. You know, that was one thing Governor Godwin Obaseki fought against. Sharing formula has to do with godfathers, godfatherism. If you don't have godfather, that means you are left to suffer. He said he's going to replace it with production. That is good. He talked about borrowing as well. That there's nothing wrong in borrowing, but it's when you borrow to spend. There was one time the Senate, they were saying they want to take a loan to refurbish or to increase their wages. That is unbelievable. The loan, they are not even taking the loan to say we want to invest it into the healthcare sector or into the education sector. None of that, or even to production, as Peter Obi is talking about, that they want to use it in the Senate to refurbish the Senate. Of what benefit is that to Nigerians? Well, guys, Peter Obi has just made this pledge. Let's hear your thoughts. If you believe what he's saying, or if you have concerns, if you have any doubts as well, let us know what you think down below in the comment section. Thank you once again for staying tuned. Please don't forget to like, share, and to subscribe. Till I come your way again with more updates. Bye.